Welcome back to Catalyst University. My name is Kevin Tokoph. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for future videos and notifications. In this video, we're going to discuss the mammalian metabolism and processing of this B vitamin, which is vitamin B7, also called biotin. And what we'll see is that biotin is actually intaken directly. There are no enzymatic pathways to biosynthesize this in humans or any other mammal, so biotin is an essential B vitamin. And we're going to intake biotin directly in this form. We're not going to be making it. So therefore, it is an essential vitamin. Okay. What we're going to see is that biotin can actually be intaken directly in its free form right here. That's generally if it's taken in the form of a supplement. It can also be intaken while bound to a protein. We'll see what happens to that. But in any case, there's going to be an interplay between each of these forms of biotin that we're going to see. And this is what's called the Biotin Cycle. Okay, so let's actually start assuming that we took a biotin supplement or that we've just got free biotin floating around. So here's the chemical structure of biotin. So you can see a couple things about this. First of all, it's a bicyclic ring. Okay, so it has two rings that are joined together. And this right here is the urido portion of the molecule because it resembles the molecule urea. It's got a carbonyl and then two nitrogens right here. These nitrogens, in particular the one opposite this tail over here, is going to play a role in activating molecules of bicarbonate into carboxyl groups, which can then be transferred to different molecules. That'll always be the nitrogen that's further away from this tail right here, which has the carboxyl group. Now this carboxyl group over here will actually be joined to proteins normally via a lysine residue. That's what this is right here. This is actually the R group of a lysine, and it will actually form an amide linkage, and we'll see how that actually occurs in a minute. The proteins such as this one that are going to receive the biotin as a cofactor, or really a coenzyme I should say, these proteins are typically carboxylases. And without the biotin group on it, without this prosthetic group, they're termed apocarboxylases. In order to turn them into the mature hollow carboxylase form, we're going to have to use an enzyme called hollow carboxylate synthetase. This is going to generate a form of the carboxylase enzyme that actually has the biotin group linked to it as a peptide or an amide bond. All right, so the hollow carboxylate synthetase is going to require ATP hydrolysis. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to adenylate this carboxyl group. Okay, that's going to activate this biotin for attachment to this lysine residue that we're going to have over here. That's part of this carboxylase enzyme. And then this nitrogen of the lysine is going to attack this carbon, displace the AMP, and now what you have is you have this biotin now part of a prosthetic group in an amide linkage to this lysine residue that's part of the protein. And note that the majority of this lysine amino acid is not shown. I just have the tip of the R group shown right here, but you can see this amide linkage. So this form of the enzyme is the hollow carboxylase, as in the name of this enzyme. Hollow carboxylase means it's the form of the carboxylase that possesses this prosthetic group, can activate a carboxyl group on this nitrogen over here where my mouse is, and then transfer it to some molecule which is denoted R. The typical reaction is shown right here. We have some molecule R which is going to be carboxylated. This reaction will require ATP and bicarbonate for the carboxyl source. And then at the end of the reaction, we should have ADP and inorganic phosphate, and then also our R molecule, whatever that is, should now have a carboxyl group. Okay? Some examples of enzymes that might actually be carboxylated are shown right here. For example, 3-methylcrotenyl-CoA carboxylase and propionyl-CoA carboxylase. These are two enzymes involved in amino acid catabolism. Additionally, propionyl-CoA carboxylase is also involved in fatty acid catabolism. Acetyl-CoA carboxylase is going to be involved in lipid synthesis to generate malonyl-CoA, and then pyruvate carboxylase will be involved in gluconeogenesis, but these are just some examples of enzymes that are actually going to require a carboxylase and therefore this biotin prosthetic group, and this process of attaching this biotin is called biotinylation, and the actual biotinylation reaction is catalyzed by our hollow carboxylase synthetase. Alright, so as I mentioned, we could get the biotin in this free form through a supplement, but generally speaking, when we get biotin through the diet, it's most likely going to be initially in the form of a protein like this, a hollow carboxylase. So when we consume this protein, it's going to be proteolyzed probably in the stomach acid and then subsequent enzymes in the digestive tract. So when we proteolyze this, it's going to remove successive amino acids, right? That's how proteolysis works. This right here, notice on the right side of this molecule known as Seitan, this molecule over here, at least this portion, is the lysine. Notice we've got the carboxyl group, the alpha amine, the alpha carbon, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, and our epsilon amine, but because proteases in the GI tract do not target this amide bond, it's still going to have the biotin prosthetic group, or in this case just the functional group, attached to the lysine residue. This molecule, as I mentioned, is called Seitan, and it will have to be processed further because we don't want this lysine amino acid attached to it. We want to hydrolyze that off. So Seitan will be degraded by another enzyme shown here called biotinidase. Biotinidase catalyzes the hydrolysis of this amide bond, and so you have lysine that comes off, and the remainder of it shown over here on the left is just our biotin molecule over here. And so that regenerates the biotin. And this really takes us one full loop around the biotin cycle, which is really just 3 enzymes. That is, hollow carboxylase synthetase to actually attach free biotin onto an apocarboxylase to make the hollow carboxylase, which can then catalyze carboxylations. Then we have proteolysis, which is just general proteolysis, which is going to occur in the gastrointestinal tract, that will remove the lysine residue from the enzyme when it's being degraded through the diet, and that will remove the lysine. However, it will still be attached to the biotin. That gives us Seitan, and then biotinidase will remove the lysine from the biotin and give us another source of biotin that we can actually attach now to our own apocarboxylases to make our own carboxylases. All right? So hopefully this video gave you a good understanding of at least the metabolism and processing of biotin in the body. In the next video, we're going to look at some of the reactions, general reactions that involve biotin carboxylations, and we'll actually look at the mechanism of that reaction. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you.